Welcome to Zoological World. Today we will discuss about Binturong. The binturong is a medium-sized carnivore that is found inhabiting the dense forests of Southeast Asia. They belong to the same family as other small carnivores including civets, genets, mongooses and fossa, and share a number of characteristics with them, including a long snout and having more teeth than most other carnivorous mammals. The binturong is thought to be most closely related to the palm civet and is the largest member of this family. Also known as the bearcat, the Asian bearcat and the Asian civet, the binturong is an animal that was once commonly found throughout much of its historical range, but sadly, today they are a rare find in the thick jungles and very little is actually known about their behavior in the wild. There are 9 different subspecies of binturong which vary little in appearance but tend to be most easily distinguished by their size and geographic location. Binturong anatomy and appearance. The binturong is a large, heavy animal that can grow to more than a meter long from their snout to the tip of their tail, with females being up to 20% bigger and heavier than their male counterparts. They have very long, coarse and shaggy fur which varies from dark brown to black in color and is tipped with gray, along with tufts of long and dark straight hair which protrude beyond the tops of their ears. The binturong, along with the kinkajou of South America, is also unique among carnivorous mammals as they possess a prehensile tip to their tails, which acts almost like another leg, helping both with climbing and gripping onto branches to give the binturong more stability. The binturong also has long, white whiskers that are thick and sensitive and are found both on their checks and above their brown eyes. Binturong distribution and habitat. The binturong is an animal that was once natively found throughout China, India, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines and on the island of Borneo, and although there are populations still found in a number of these countries, their numbers have been declining and the binturong can now be extraordinarily hard to spot. Found in dense, moist jungles and in areas that are close to a slow-moving water source, the binturong has been most affected by habitat loss, particularly in the more southern parts of its natural range. Towards the north, however, where the rate of deforestation is not quite as ferocious, they have been more affected by hunting and capture as well as generally expanding human populations. The binturong relies heavily on dense, thick forest where there is plenty of cover both in the trees and on the ground, and with a big decline in its native jungles, this mammal simply has fewer places to go. Binturong behavior and lifestyle. The binturong is a generally solitary and nocturnal animal that spends the majority of its time moving about slowly and cautiously amongst the trees. Due to their large size, the binturong cannot leap between one tree and another and so must climb down to the ground to go from tree to tree. They are excellent climbers and are well aided by their strong feet, agile bodies, semi-retractable claws and their prehensile tail. The binturong is also known to both swim and dive well and often spends time in the water to simply cool down in the heat of the sun. Although they do tend to be mainly solitary, small groups of binturong are not uncommon and usually consist of an adult pair and their young. As with the hierarchy in mongoose society, however, it is the female binturong who remains the dominant adult. The binturong is known to be a very vocal animal and makes a number of sounds to both communicate with other binturongs and to warn off species that it sees to be a threat. They are known to make chuckling sounds when they seem to be happy and appear to utter a high-pitched wail if they become aggravated. Binturong reproduction and life cycles. Although there is not thought to be a mating season as such, there are thought to be higher instances between February and April and then later in July and November. After a gestation period that lasts for around 3 months, the female binturong climbs down to the ground to nest in thick vegetation that is sheltered both from the elements but is also out of sight of passing predators. Between 1 and 3 small cubs are born that measure about the size of a human fist. Like a number of other mammalian young, binturongs are born blind and cannot hear and rely solely on their mother to provide them with milk. They are usually weaned by the time they are 2 months old and reach their adult size after a year. The binturong is thought to live for between 10 and 15 years in the wild but can happily reach older ages in captivity, with one individual having died at the age of 26.